So, in my last video, I talked about weird people on the internet, especially ones that think that Twitch streaming is the hardest job ever to have, and people who like the animals a little too much. But now I'm going to segue into the most important topic I've ever discussed on any of my channels, and that is a cartoon show. But Yeast, what does a cartoon show have to do with weird people on the internet? Yes. Now, in the show is called the Has-Been Hotel, and they call it the Has-Been Hotel because it might have a has-beens in it. And they say fuck, and it's in hell, and there is sex, and this is funny because it combines three things that I really enjoy, and that's why I'm the target audience. Unfunny sex jokes, people saying fuck over and over again, and weird, obscure biblical references that three people will understand. So this is why it's the perfect show for me. And there is a very weird online community, two online communities surrounding the show. And they're both extremely parasocial, and I think I want to highlight them because no one's really talking about it in this way, and I don't really understand why, because, this is, ripe for, viewership, because this is, a relevant topic. And I love relevant topics, and I love YouTube views, so that's why I'm going to talk about it. So, recently, there's just been this weird influx of, weird accusations made about people, and I think this show and its creator is, a really good example of that. There's some other stuff, like Dave Filoni, the Star Wars, the Clone Wars guy, he puts out, the trailer for, the Ahsoka show. He's gonna be directing a live-action show for the first time, and then, and if you look at, Twitter, when it comes out, there are people who are calling him, an actual pedophile, and they're evidence for this is that there is an underage female character that exists. These people see a girl, and the first thing they think of is sex, and that must mean that the creator is a pedophile, and not you for thinking about sex when you see a literal fucking child! These people see, a child, and they're oh, pedophile, sex, This is what they sound like. This is what they do. And then there's, another accusation. This one's more specific to Vivzieslop, the creator of the Has-Been Hotel. And she's, an independent YouTube animator or whatever, and her show gets picked up by A24, and it's going to be, on Amazon. And it's, animated by, the studio who did, Bob's Burgers or something. And so, then there's, this guy's Vivzieslop is doing slave labor. Source this Discord message where someone on Discord is telling animators that they can do work for, this, and they get paid this price. And this means that Vivzieslop is a fucking slave owner or something. And this doesn't even make any goddamn sense. Because first of all, Vivzieslop would have no control over, this animation studio. And most certainly, this message wouldn't be conveyed over fucking Discord. And then, to top it all off, when you run the numbers, it's actually above average what animators are paid for, these shows. So literally, there's, apparently, above average is slave labor now. And, sure, people probably don't get paid enough, but that's literally not under her control, and it was an optional thing. People didn't even have to work on this. These people are fucking nuts, and they will literally believe anything that you say. And then they accuse her of being, a rape fetishist. It's this weird game of telephone, because allegedly, there's this, person who was a storyboard artist that allegedly has a rape fetish. And the source for this is, Twitter screenshots of, really vague stuff that I don't even know what the fuck it means. And then it's, he storyboarded a scene where, a character is, a literal sex slave, because that's part of the show, because they're in literal fucking hell. That's part of the plot of the show. And then it's misconstrued that Vivzieslop made a rape fetish show, and that doesn't even make any sense. And then, there's, Vivzieslop clarified that, this person was, a sexual assault survivor, but the guy said that he wasn't afterward, And people are like, oh, Vivzieslop knowingly lied. And it's like, well, it could also be that he lied to her, that it was a misunderstanding. Maybe the screenshots aren't even real, because I haven't even been able to find them on Twitter. And I looked. But assuming that they're real, like, these people don't understand context. And, like, the day after I'm recording this, there's, like, this thing, Wilbur Soot, like Minecraft guy, makes music. People are accusing him of, like, abusing an ex-partner, because an ex-partner said, I was abused in a relationship because I got bit during sex, like, and I didn't leave him, and which is, her story doesn't even make any sense anyway, if you listen to it. But people are assuming it's Wilbur and accusing him of abusing her when his name is literally not even mentioned. These people literally do not understand how accusations are supposed to work, how evidence works, how reality as a whole works. And nobody can enjoy anything anymore. Everything you watch, everything you enjoy, anything you do is always bad, pedophile, something or other. But then when there's like an actual pedophile, like these people will turn a blind eye, like with Parasocial. Like Parasocial will do shit, and he admits that he still like contacted like that one girl after he found out their age and did like sex RPs with them. Nobody cares about that. But and he admits that the French girl, the Keemstar thing, where there's like, oh, you dated an underage girl after like she was like raped, and like, yeah, he did do that. He said that it didn't happen, and then proof that came out that it did happen. He's like, oh, I'm gonna address everything, and then he never did. He never did. But people will say like, oh, he's a pedophile. I mean, not a pedophile, and then they'll say Dream is a pedophile. Dream's a pedophile, and he debunks everything. People say, oh, he's still a pedophile. These people are completely unserious, and nothing they say should be taken into account. But no, these people ruin people's lives. They ruin people's lives, and it's a disgrace. And another thing with, like, the weird parasocial angle is that the pilot for Hazbin Hotel had, like, different voice actors than the show, because the show has, like, Broadway voice actors, but, like, the pilot voice actors were just Vivzie's friends who were voice actors. And people are like, oh, Vivzie fired them and it was horrible. It's like, no. She didn't even have full control over who got cast in this, because it's not entirely her show anymore. That's not how shows work. In fact, like, some of them, like, re-auditioned and didn't even get the role. And that's, like, not under her control. And then another thing is they're all still on good terms. They're all still friends, but people are like, oh, she's evil to her friends. And it's like, you don't know these people. These people are friends in real life. You don't know them. What is wrong with you? And another thing is, like, some of the people, there was, like, union regulations, because some of them aren't, like, fans of, like, the SAG-AFTRA union stuff. And so that makes it really difficult for them to be cast in, like, a show that's going to be on Amazon Prime. There's all sorts of, like, red tape with this stuff, and people don't realize that, and everything has to be, like, a parasocial thing now. People just, like, assume they know everything about other people, despite never have even talked to them before. And it's really, really weird. And then, once you get into, like, oh, this person's a pedophile slave owner, it, like, really gets bad. And can we just, like, do something about these,
fucking really can't say that word anymore.
And, like, another thing is, like, people get really pissed over, like, the language in the show and, like, the jokes that are, like, a little, like, edgy or whatever in the cartoon show. But people won't get mad at, like, Family Guy or, like, American Dad, like, Seth MacFarlane shows, which Vivzieslop is literally stated are, like, direct inspirations to her. Like, people won't complain about this, but it's only an issue when the fags make a show where they do the same thing. Then it's bad, because nobody has any consistent standards anymore. You can't have them anymore. It's not possible. I want you to find you, the viewer. Go to twitter.com, x.com, goldenmarkiplier.com, and try to find me one consistent individual, okay? And you can't say me, because I'm not on there, probably. And to prove my point, here's a compilation of clips that no serious person has ever had a problem with, because they're literally fucking jokes in a cartoon.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
I'm glad we waited. Giraffity! Yes, he does not mind. Reverend Peter, I gotta talk to you. Last night I had sex with a teenage blonde and her mother.
Well, that's quite a story, Quagmire, but my church doesn't have confession, so there's really no reason for you to tell me.
Are you kidding? I'm telling everybody. Giggity goo ga!
Where'd you get this kind of money?
The penis enlargement pill you gave me the startup money for. It turned a pretty nice profit. And if it makes you feel better, it was money well spent. Just ask Sandra, the waitress over there. We had a great time last night.
And for sex? Because Jillian deserves better. She has feelings, you know, and she's devoted a lot of time and energy to this relationship with some expectation that it could grow into something much more significant. And if you're just stringing her along, well, then I gotta say, I've lost a lot of respect for you, Brian.
And then to top it off, we have the Religious Horseshoe Theory Brigade, both of which know nothing about religion. They claim they know everything about religion, but they actually don't, and that's why they sound like idiots whenever they try to bring up anything about this show. It's like the ultra-nationalist Christian people say, oh, this is offensive to Christians. Is like, oh my god, like, aren't you the people who, like, support free speech or whatever the fuck? Nobody fucking cares. And then they're like, this is spreading misinformation. It's like, this is a cartoon. It's like, with these same people, if, like, Dante's Inferno was, like, written today, these people would call it woke. These people are insane. And then you have the other people who are like, oh, this is offensive to voodoo. This is offensive to voodoo. They can't take religious material and put it in a show about hell. Like, these people are completely unserious. And one thing I saw is, like, this one's really funny. It's like people are like, oh, they're spreading misinformation that the angels created heaven. And it's like, that is literally one interpretation of Scripture. Do these people not know what, like, deism is? How, like, ancient Judaism worked? Like, those are both interpretations that, in some forms, interpret the angels as having created heaven. And then it's like Vivzie doesn't really want to put God in the show. It's a cartoon. It's not a direct adaptation of religion. Nobody should watch this show and be like, this is an accurate portrayal of what people's actual religious beliefs are. Like, these people are completely disingenuous or stupid or both. But then you have the horseshoe theory of the people who actually like the show. Because everything always comes back to horseshoe theory on this channel. You have people like Nux Taku who like the show maybe a little bit too much. There's like a clip of him calling like an underage character a lolly. This guy's on Vosh Island. He's on the Vosh Island flight logs. And like there's like this other guy, the cartoonish. I've heard it pronounced both ways. He's like he made a video about Star Wars, and he called J.J. Abrams a very interesting thing. You should watch those videos. They're very good guy, good videos. And he said some slight criticisms of the show, and he got like actually harassed and like threatened for it. Like, can anything like be done anymore? Can people do anything without like these special individuals who I respect very much doing something to these people? We need to figure out like they don't put lead in like the air anymore, so what the fuck is causing it? Is it the microplastics? We need to figure out what's going on. There's something going on and it's bad. Anyway, if you look at Vivziepop's Twitter, Wendigoon follows her, so everyone harassed Wendigoon and asked him to make a Has-Been Hotel analysis video, because it would be very funny if he actually did that. Okay, I'm gonna go find something productive to do. Good night. I love you. You're very special.